The heart of the U.S. Navy today is the mighty supercarrier Gerald R. Ford, which has been sailing the seas for 4 years now. Various advanced technological solutions were integrated into it, many of which were being utilized for the first time. In today's video, we are going to take a look at what kinds of problems faced this giant, as well as find out whether or not the engineers were able to solve them. Gerald R. Ford, or CVN-78, is the lead ship of the class under the same name, which has come to be a worthy replacement for the outgoing Nimitz aircraft carrier class. The ship was named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald R. Ford, who served in the U.S. Navy during World War II aboard the USS Monterey and fought in the battles that took place in the Pacific Theater. The aircraft carrier was made to be the perfect floating device for the U.S. Navy in order to operationally deploy its aviation assets anywhere in the world, thus minimizing the military's dependence on its own and foreign military bases. The Giant's wing can include up to 90 fighters, helicopters, and drones, all of which are conducting up to hundreds of flights a day. Among these aircraft are the latest F-35C, the already validated FA-18E, FA-18F, EA-18G, E-2D, C-2A, MH-60RS, and other air assets. The Navy plans to increase the number of flights from an aircraft carrier in the future by 33% to 160 during normal peacetime and 220 in combat. In the fall of 2008, the Navy signed a $5.1 billion contract with Northrop Grumman to build a Gerald R. Ford-class multi-purpose nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. Although construction had already begun in 2005 under a $2.7 million contract at Newport News Shipbuilding in Newport News, Virginia. That same year, Northrop Grumman carried out a symbolic cutting of a 15-ton sheet of metal, which later became part of the CVN-78 hull. The keel of the ship was laid in 2009 by Ford's daughter, Susan Ford Bales, and by 2011 the aircraft carrier's design was already half finished. Just 1 year later, the ship's readiness was estimated at about 75%. And by the end of 2012, this figure had reached 90%. At that time, the engineers reported having completed 446 lifting works out of the total 500 planned. In the spring of 2013, the last lifting work was completed, which made it possible to bring the ship to 100% readiness as far as structural work was concerned. All that remained now was to expend about 757,000 liters of paint to coat its hull, install the shafts, and also set up and adjust the mooring equipment and radar antennas. In 2016, the aircraft carrier began having problems. The media reported that the ship did not pass a combat test, due to which its commissioning was delayed until 2017. The Department of Operations testing and evaluation within the DoD had stated that important systems in the Gerald R. Ford contained serious issues that could only be corrected by a redesign. The weaknesses of the ship, in their opinion, were the aircraft takeoff and landing system, air traffic control, as well as the CVN-78 self-defense system and delivery of weapons. Experts were especially worried about the electromagnetic catapult, which could malfunction after only 400 aircraft launches in a row as opposed to the planned 4,166 takeoffs. At the same time, the probability of the aero finisher's failure arose after the reception of only 25 aircraft in a row instead of 1,600. Despite these difficulties, the ship went to sea for the first time in 2017 in order to conduct sea trials, and that same year it entered into service with the U.S. Navy. 2019 marked Newport News Shipbuilding's first $15.2 billion contract for the construction of 2 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers in 3 decades. This historic contract was an important step towards the design and development of the next generation of aircraft carriers with enhanced performance and capabilities. Some military experts even regarded it as a defining moment for the history of U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Shortly after problems with the CVN-78 air arrestor, General Atomics won a $12.5 million contract to repair the electromagnetic aircraft launch systems and a new AAG air arrestor for Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carriers. In October of 2019, high-precision tests of the AAG air arrestor were successfully done, having completed more than 5,000 aircraft braking runs on ground test facilities and over 747 braking runs directly on board CVN-78 itself. Alongside the aero finishers, engineers also worked on correcting the operation of the EMALS electromagnetic catapult control systems. Because of this, there was a forced break in flights for 5 days during the tests on the ship. EMALS and AAG underwent an extensive testing program over a period of 18 months to ensure the improved components were in full function and working reliably. This resulted in over 8,000 successful aircraft launches and landings on board the aircraft carrier, with a 100% safety score being recorded. To make testing as fair as possible, flights were carried out both during the day and at night, under any given weather conditions. During the first 3 months, EMALS and AAG were tested for compatibility with FA-18E and FA-18F carrier-based fighters, E-2D AWACS aircraft, C-2A transport aircraft, EA-18G electronic warfare aircraft, and T-45C combat trainers as well. All tests were divided into 18 individual stages, the last of which ended not that long ago, in the spring of 2021, after overcoming a benchmark of 8,029 successful takeoffs and landings. Throughout this time, Gerald R. Ford was the only aircraft carrier off the east coast of the U.S. available for naval cadet training and pilot certification. According to the president of General Atomics Electromagnetic Systems, GAEMS, the revamped EMALS and AAG have played a critical role in supporting the training of over 400 pilots. Now working in perfect order and ready for action were the Aero Finishers and the EMALS catapults, which provide a greater impulse to push with a decrease in the total mass of the device, as well as increase the intensity of departing flights. Although, there was initially a feeling that everyone would be put off by this, even criticizing these actions. In the summer of 2021, the aircraft carrier was again subjected to perhaps one of the toughest tests that a warship can withstand. This time, the military tested it at full shock load, which determines how well the ship and its onboard systems can withstand a physical combat load. To this end, 40,000 pounds of explosives were detonated underwater near the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, all but 100 miles off the coast of Florida. And although the ship successfully withstood the explosion perfectly, it turned out to be so powerful that the U.S. Geological Survey registered an earthquake in the test area with a magnitude of 3.9 on the Richter scale. Earlier, in April of 2021, Gerald R. Ford also successfully passed the Combat Systems Qualification Test, CSSQT. During this time, the ship was hit with rocket drones, towed unmanned aerial vehicles, TDU, simulated missiles, and remotely controlled high-speed maneuvering surface targets, HSMST. As a result, the majority of CVN-78's problems were eliminated, and attention smoothly shifted from what originated in 2018 to projections for 2022. The blame, among other things, was the sudden outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which noticeably slowed down plans to improve the aircraft carrier systems. Today, however, the military is at full steam ahead, and Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman, the commander of Carrier Strike Group 12, has said that all plans are now on track and there are no major obstacles in their way. The more than $13 billion aircraft carrier is now in the middle of its final maintenance phase. During this, the U.S. Navy also intends to complete the verification of all 11 advanced weapons elevators, to which a number of claims and doubts have been put forward more than once. According to Hoffman, the engineers performed more than 15,000 test cycles under all conditions to ensure these systems were working. Gerald R. Ford has managed to overcome many fundamental problems, despite the regularly received criticism. More scrutiny, in fact, than has been received by any other existing aircraft carrier. Soon, the U.S. Navy will deploy the vessel and it will be ripe for new achievements. What are your thoughts on the latest aircraft carrier? Let us know in the comments. And if you found today's video enjoyable, please leave a like and don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.